Hello everyone. Microsoft has made a massive shift in how AI development works with the release of Microsoft Foundry at Ignite 2025. So everything has been redesigned, from how we create agents to how we give them tools, how the knowledge is connected, and even how the playground works. Even though the documentation is available, a lot of people still find it confusing because the platform has changed so much in a very short time. So in this video, I want to make things extremely simple. My goal is to explain the entire agent and the tool system in one continuous flow without overwhelming you or without jumping between the different topics. By the end of this video, you will understand how exactly the agents work, how the tools connect, how MCP fits into the picture, how the logic app extend your agent tools, and how the knowledge works using the My Foundry IQ. And this is the first video in my Microsoft Foundry series. Since so many things have changed, I'll be creating multiple videos covering different areas. But today, our focus is very specific. Today, we are going deep into agents and tools because these two concepts form the base of everything else you will build in Microsoft Foundry moving forward. So let's begin with how agents are created now. In the older Azure AI Foundry experience, we had a fairly basic agent creation system. But now the entire flow has been redesigned. You can create an agent in two ways. The first way is using the Microsoft Foundry portal, and this is the method most people will use because it is very clean, visual, and interactive. The second way is to use the Microsoft Foundry SDK, which now uses version 2 and allows you to create the agent using the code. So in this video, we'll not go into the SDK because I want to keep focus on the portal experience, which is where everything starts. And now the previous agents which were created in the older model or the Azure AI Foundry now cannot be used directly here. So things have changed, and let's see how we create in the new Microsoft Foundry. So let me explain the new portal flow. When you click on the create agent, the very first step is choosing the model. This could be a GPT model or any other model which is available in the unified catalog. Once you select the model, you create the agent instructions. And this is the system instructions or the system prompt, but more structured. You define how the agents behave, what tone it should use, what it should do, and what it should avoid on any special constraint. Next comes the most important part, adding the tools. In Microsoft Foundry, tools define what your agent is allowed to do. And without the tools, the agent can only generate text. But with tools, the agent can search enterprise content, analyze the document, call different API, trigger workflows, browse websites, interact with the SharePoint, send email, and so on. There are a lot of things that can be done now. Tools turns the agent from a chatbot into an intelligent digital worker. And after adding tool, you can attach the memory or the knowledge sources if needed. And once all of this is set up, you can deploy the agent. What is very interesting now is that the playground is fully integrated into the agent page. You don't go into the separate area, everything is now combined. This means that as soon as you create or modify the agent, you can immediately test it. You can test prompts, test tools, test the grounding responses, and see the entire JSON trace. So the agent development cycle has become much faster. So instead of just explaining this, I want to show you how this works in the portal. I am in the Azure portal now, and let's go to Microsoft Foundry. If we'll click on Foundry, let's create a new one. YouTube demo and Foundry demo 001. Let's create an East US2 and let's use the default name or demo project default. Now there are multiple options. I'll create a separate video where I can define how you can use the specific resources, existing resources, or the networking, but in this I would just want to go default. So we are just creating the Microsoft Foundry with the default settings. So validation is successful. Let's create it. The deployment has started now. I'll pause the video and we'll be back once it's done. So deployment is complete. Let's go to the resource. We are in the Foundry hub, and let's go to the Foundry portal now. And once you open it, you are into the project. So now this is the old Foundry. However, what we want is a new Foundry experience. So let's click on it. It'll ask you to log in again. And now we are into Microsoft Foundry portal, which is a version 2. I have already made a video where I have shown what are the changes being done, where are the different models, tools and everything. But let's focus here on the specific agents and the tools. So let's click on the build, and on the left side, you will see the agents. Now you have to create an agent, though we haven't deployed any model. So this is one of the thing when you create on click agent, for example, test agent, it will automatically deploy the model for you, which I think it should prompt. Previously it used to prompt. Now it will deploy the model and assign it directly. So now as you can see in the playground, and it opens in the playground directly, so it's integrated now. So if you click on the agent, it opens in the playground, and it has automatically selected GPT 4.1 mini. Though there are popular models, the version which you can choose from here. So that means you don't have to specifically go and deploy. If you'll select here, that will be deployed. So for example, let's click on GPT 4.0, and this time it's deployed. Actually, Microsoft Foundry is new and still not mature. So I can understand there are some bugs, some issues. Hopefully these will be resolved in near future. So when you save it, the agent is saved. And you can just chat and test hi, and it should respond back using the GPT 4.0 model. And you can always use the model which are already deployed, and it will provide you the answers. Now along with the chat, there is a YAML option also. When you click on it, you can see the model, all the description. If you write the instructions here, you are an intelligent agent. Let's save it, and this will be updated too. As you can see, the instructions are here, and if you'll attach the tools, you can see that tools here. There is a code option which you can open the VS Code directly, or you can just copy paste, use the environment variables, and then you can use it through the SDK, and it's a Python code. And now we have created an agent using the model. This is similar to what we used to do previously, just a different interface. Now this is how it works. The next important step is the tools. Now in the tools, they have already added an option which is upload files, which means directly you are adding a knowledge source. When you upload the file, and renters guide, Victoria Australian government renters guide, and it's uploading right now. It's only 877 KB. It should be uploaded quickly because it will create a vector store for you in the background. It's done, success, attach, and now this has become the knowledge source. So you can see it's indexing right now. Soon it will be available and it will be ready to use, and it's available now. So you will click on it. Now let's ask provide details about rent from the tool. You don't have to specify it, you can add in the instructions and it will provide you from the grounding search. So now as you can see, it has provided this information, and how we know that it is from the tool, and it is providing the reference from where it has taken. So you can check it, all those details, not the whole file, just the reference where it has picked up. So now it's showing the quality, its pass, and how many tokens, and it took how much seconds. If you want to debug it, you can check what it has done, what it has provided, metadata evaluation. So it was a pass, the basic default evaluation, and you can check the same thing here in the traces. Let's save it first. In the traces, the different run it will show, the different conversations. If you want in more detail, you can connect the application inside. If you go to the monitor, how many run, and all those metrics will be shown here. And similar way, if you want more tracing, you have to include the application inside. Now it shows for the tool, different run, no connected tools, because we have just attached knowledge source directly, which I don't know why it doesn't consider as tool, but it is. And in the evaluation, there are two options: automatic evaluation and human evaluation. In automatic, you can use the synthetic generation, where it will generate it for you, how many rows, and but you have to provide the seed data here. So you will provide the seed data and confirm, and automatically it will do the generation for you. Or you can use the existing data set. You can download the sample data set, upload it here, and then start the evaluation. But by default, it does the evaluation by itself, as you can see in the response, which it showed that it does the default evaluation. So now the file search, which is the basic upload, it's available and it's working good. What are the different options which are available? So when you click on the tools, so these are the categorized option, which means which are directly available. Code interpreter. In case you want to run a Python code in a sandbox environment, for example, you want to fetch the details from a CSV file, or you want to run a calculation using the Python code, that you can add this tool and it will perform those calculations using the sandbox environment. Similar way, Azure AI Search, if you have an Azure AI Search vector store created somewhere, you can bring it here. Now grounding with Bing Search, if you click here, you have to create the resource. It's not there, create the resource and then connect it here. So that you can do the web search with the Bing. You can remove it from here. If you'll add a new tool, there is a web search which is available. And this is really good. And you don't have to do anything. Just click on it, add the tool, add, and it's done. So now if you'll save it, you can do the web search now. What is the date today? 30th November. So that means it's getting the details which are absolute recent from the web search. Okay, that's good. So now we have different tools added. Let's add another tool. Now with the custom Bing search, there is already the Bing search. These two options you have to create in the Azure portal, and once then you have to bring those resources here. Now there is a Fabric data agent, so you can connect to your Fabric data, OneLake, Power BI, and all those can be connected using the Fabric data agent. There is a SharePoint agent. Now you are connecting to the SharePoint using the tenant directly. So the SharePoint should have the same tenant. If you have to connect it from here, it should be in the same tenant where your Azure subscription is. So once you have connected and you have Microsoft Copilot license, it will work for you. Now the another is the browser automation, which means it provides a headless browser. So it will open the browser, do some automation. So if you have to do automation testing, so it can be done. There is another tool which is computer use. So it takes control of your computer and make the changes. For example, you have to make some changes, it will do like click on this button, open this file, open this folder, it will take care of that, but you can't add it directly. So first you need to get a permission or authorization from Microsoft, and once it's done, then you can use it. Now if we'll go to the catalog, now there are a lot of tools which are available, more than 1400 tools, which are in three different categories. One is MCP remote, MCP local, and custom. Now in MCP remote, it's as the name suggests, we are using MCP connections or the connectors and connect directly to the MCP servers, which are hosted by third parties. If you click here, MCP remote, so these are the different third party tools which have their MCP server hosted by them. You have to just connect it to them. You have to log in, sign in, all those formality you have to done, but you can connect it. So these are the MCP servers. Now if I'll just cancel it, add new tool, the others are MCP local. Now in the MCP local, you can create your own Azure SQL MCP server. You can use that. But in this case, MCP local, you have to deploy or host your MCP server by yourself. It can be container apps or it can be function app, but you have to host it by yourself. Now another option is the using the custom. So custom are the logic app connectors. Now to connect to the logic app, there is an MCP connectors which are available in the custom tool. So now your agent will connect to your logic app through MCP, so that it always gets a similar response. Now it's wrapped around it to make it easy for use. So let's quickly try this. Outlook.com. So what it's going to do is it's going to create a new logic app demo. Let's name it as 0001. And this is the first time when you are going to use any logic app connector tool through MCP, you have to create a logic app. If you are going to add a second tool, you are going to use the same logic app. So let's create a logic app resource. This is going to create a logic app. Now the problem is I can't create a logic app because I have already created, and logic app is already there, which I can show you actually. Let's go here, click on build. There is a test agent, and I have already created a logic app for this. So let's delete it and recreate it again. So now the logic app is already available. If you'll click here, add a tool, oh, my bad. If you'll click here, add a new tool, and let's use outlook.com. There are around 1400 which are available, and you have to just select which is the logic app which is available. So when you go here, you have to sign in. Once you sign in, you will go into the logic app and create an MCP connector, and you have to choose the tool which you're going to use. So in this case, I'm going to use the send an email. So send an email version 2 selected, and there is already a connection which is created. However, you can create a new one. And you have to just sign in, and you have to provide these details, the name and everything. So this is done. Now you have to provide the name. So it's created. MCP server, let's call it as mail outlook. I'll use the same name. It will be created in the logic app. It's a standard logic app which is already created, and it will create a workflow for you. Though to make it easy, now we are wrapping around the MCP. So there is a MCP connector. Once you register it, this tool will be created, and then you have to add this tool into your agent. So the tool is created now. So this is the tool, and mail outlook tool is created, and you have to use in an agent. Which agent? Test agent. So once you select this, you have to just save. I think it will be automatically saved. Yes. So it's created. Now let's test it. Send an email to shalendar@pscglobal.com.au. Use subject and body as test. Because these three information has to be provided, you can provide in the instructions and it will automatically generate, or if you have a proper workflow, then in that case your agent will take care of it, all those information. And let's try it. Now it's connecting to the tool and will send the email. But when you connect a tool, you need to approve it. Here in the case of the portal, you have to approve it. Similar in SDK also, but in the SDK you can automate it. So once there is a context provided, you have to approve it. So it's correct. This is what we want, and approve. Request has been approved and the email has been sent. So that's good. Now if we'll go to debug, we'll check the MCP tool, and it's a success. It's completed successfully. Though we know it's success. Let me open the email and show you. So this is the email. As you can see, it's sent from shalendra.chaudhary@gmail.com from Outlook, and because it's a test email, so it's not important, low importance, so it's in junk. So anyways, so it's all good. This tool is working. Now let's delete this. Even delete the agent, we don't want this agent. And let's go back to our project. It was demo project. Go to the build and test agent. Now it has file search, web search. We have checked the different tools, different catalogs. We have seen all the options which are available, and then the custom ones. Now if you have specific APIs, custom APIs, which are not standard, or you want to define it here, you can use the Open API tool, Open API 2.0 I believe it is, and then you can define your MCP or the agent to agent connectors. So when you define it, you need to create it, and you need to provide the tool, different values, credentials, how it will connect to your MCP server endpoint. So those details, so you can if it's not part of the different tools which are available, you can bring your own MCP tool directly. And the good part is, previously you used to do it through the SDK, but now it's available in the portal also. So this can be done. Now another thing is the knowledge. Now there are two ways in which it can be done. One is connect to Foundry IQ. So now Microsoft, what has done is, it's created a Foundry IQ. You have to first connect to an AI search resource. There is no one, you have to create a new one. Oh, there is already available, that's good. And let's connect it. Now I want to show you, when the Foundry IQ is created, it's like a centralized database. You create a knowledge base, and there are multiple options like the knowledge base option, which is AI search, Azure Blob, web, SharePoint, two different type of SharePoint, remote or index, or Microsoft Lake, and different tools also available like AI search, grounding with Bing search, Fabric data agent, SharePoint, Cosmos DB, Elastic, and a lot of different tools which are available. So now you can use this, and you can create your knowledge type or knowledge base. It's like a centralized knowledge base. So if you create the multiple agents, you can just connect to the Foundry IQ. So these are the options. Or you can just keep creating the different knowledge bases, and it will be easy for you to centrally manage and then assign different agents to the different the knowledge bases which will be created. But another option here also available is, when you want to add the specific data source via tool. So all those data sources which were available, now you can also assign it here directly to this agent. So then it will not be central, it will not be part of the Foundry IQ, and you can just assign it here. And these are the same way like you create the different tools. These are MCP local, you can see MCP remote, and these are the categorized tool which are dependent on your tenant. So through tenant, they are directly integrated. So either you create a resource into your Azure portal, or uh, for example, the SharePoint, it should be part of your tenant so that it can directly integrate with it. And then comes the memory. So now you can auto create a memory store. If you'll click here, it will create a memory store. Previously, how the memory used to work was in the thread memory. So once you run an agent in that specific thread, the memories or your memory is stored. But if you create a new thread, the memory is not stored. Now for this agent, if you have a memory store enabled, that means Azure as a managed service will take care of it, and all the agent memory will be stored. And this memory store is divided into two types. One is short-term memory, or the context-based memory. Whenever you will connect to the agent again, it will have the context, what's being spoken about, and then another comes the long-term memory, which will create the context, what should be saved. Not everything will be saved, it will filter the information based on synthetic search, and then keep the relevant information for the chat, which will be long-term memory. And finally, the guardrails. Now you can assign the guardrail. There are two types of guardrails which are available. One is the default one, where you have hate, self-harm, sexual, and violence. These type of prompts will be blocked. Now there are more in the version 2, like the jailbreak, if someone tries to jailbreak, or forced material for code or the text. So all these are added extra, and you can assign them. By default, when the model uses its own guardrails, so it uses the model guardrail. But if you want to assign them more, you can assign it from here or create your own. So you can create your own guardrail, and there you can choose what type of risk you want to mitigate: jailbreak, indirect prompt injections, PII if it's a personal information. So all those you can select. You can create your own guardrail and then assign to your agent. So now these are all the things which are available for the agents, and it's very easy to use. So whenever you attach a tool, you will see the different tools which are attached, like the file search, it's shown here, and the web search preview. So the different tools whichever you assign, or memory and everything, will be shown in the YAML file, and then you can use it into the code using the SDK. And that's all I wanted to show in this video. I just wanted to give you a look and feel of how you can create the agents into the portal, and how easy and integrated the new experience is. I hope you liked it. Please like and subscribe. Thank you so much.